It's totally a change of lifestyle as well for me when I changed to EV.
More than 100,000 Hyundai IONIQ 5s and 6 were sold around the world last year. Here in Malaysia, there are more than 100 of these IONIQ 5s. Today, we invite Kim to hear why he got a Hyundai IONIQ 5 and his journey adopting EVs in Malaysia. Click subscribe to stay updated to more videos with EV owners around the world. Welcome to the channel, Kim.
Thanks, Daren, for inviting.
Can you tell us a bit more about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So good morning, everyone. And again, thanks for inviting me to this channel. I'm Kim. I'm actually a business coach and also a business owner for pet supplements selling. And also we do like e-commerce selling on Shopee, Lazada to help most pet owners to have a better pet wellness lifestyle.
So an entrepreneur. You were driving ICE cars before this. What made you decide to get an EV in Malaysia?
Yeah, I think first of all, as an ICE car owner, I think it's actually the easiest way to kickstart our journey in Malaysia because the working situation here requires us to have cars, definitely. And so having an ICE car first is the most affordable one. And then when I started to know about Tesla, that's my first encounter for EVs. And what I found out is it's very amazing to see how an EV compares to the ICE, especially on the torque, everything, and the simplicity of the car itself. So I get to know more about the cars by checking out the websites and also checking out Daren's videos as well. And I kept going into deeper as I went in more, and I went on to try out Tesla models as well, test drive it, and the experience is totally amazing because it's so direct. The input is so direct. So I think this experience is totally life changing, and so we decided to like plan out for when can we get an EV.
So you got a chance to test drive the Tesla Model 3, the Hyundai Kona as well. What was the deciding factor in picking this IONIQ 5 Lite?
Yeah, so I think that goes back to the exterior, the design itself. Yes, so I think between Tesla Model Y and also IONIQ, the outlook is definitely IONIQ getting the most like futuristic kind of cyber feel, while Tesla has the most simple form. Both I like it, but my wife prefers this one more. So
Happy
definitely,
wife,
yes,
happy life.
Yes, so definitely goes to this, and she tried on Tesla and also IONIQ, and she thinks that IONIQ has the better space and also the design is much. I'll say they can touch it rather than just a screen. So the choice is very clear now.
How much is this spec car? This is a 2022 IONIQ 5 Lite.
Yes. This specs. This one comes in 210,000.
210,000 ringgit. So it's definitely a more affordable range. Puts it right in between the BYD Atto 3 and a Tesla Model Y. So the wife loved the car. Both of you love the way it looks. It is a very iconic looking car. Can you give us a tour of this car?
Yeah, sure.
I'll be behind the camera as Kim walks us through inside and outside.
Welcome, guys. So I'm gonna introduce the car. So this is the IONIQ Lite, and I'm gonna start with the lighting that I like the most. So when you see IONIQ, basically this is the front where it catches the eyes most because of the lighting itself. I personally like the lighting because of the pixelate and the boxes. Sort of like Mario, when you play the games, right? You have the boxes where you jump and then hit the brakes and you get the coins out. So this is kind of like the feel that I get. And what I like is that the front part, as most other EVs, they don't have grille light design and it's very simple. So this one totally get rid of the grille, and you see the very plain front, and the aircon vents is very subtle. They just open up when it is on, and if it's not, then it's closed. So I think it's very futuristic, to be honest. Right, so let me get to the side of it. So maybe something about the tires as well. So I think moving from a city to an Ioniq is definitely a big change because of the tires. It's getting bigger. So this is a 20. It's 19-inch actually. So it's actually the original spec from Hyundai, right? So I personally love this design as well because it's like a lotus flower, and compared to the Max spec, it's like a star design, more complex. So to me, this simpler design is much appealing. Right. So let's move on to the side. So for this one, I think it's very unique for the design. Although they don't have the camera right here, it's for the upper plus and also max version. The design itself is very matching with the whole car, with the pixelated lights as well. Alright. So another thing I like is, of course, the handle. So the handle can hide itself. So maybe later I can show it out. Right. So the back of the car, it looks quite cute. As my wife said, that front and the back combines together looks like a dog. Very cute puppy, very innocent look. So that's why I think it's very relevant. And then let's see the car's the backlights. It's very eye-catching because of the when in night time you see the boxes, the red lights, and the whole feel is very streamlined. I like the whole streamlined feel.
It looks very futuristic, like Tron, right? You can see behind us.
Yeah.
Very high tech. It's very iconic. When people see it from afar, I guess people either love it or don't like it. But I think most people really like the design of the IONIQ 5.
I do as well. Sure. So just press it here and it opens up. That's very simple. And this is an AC charging port. And I think it's the same for most of the EVs. You open up for the DC charging. So that's it. And the unique part is, I think, for like EV6, Kia EV6, and also IONIQ 5, they show the charging level. So basically, one point is 25%.
So you really notice a lot of similarities with the Kia EV6 because they do share the same underlying infrastructure. It's just the physical design that's a bit different. The charge ports of both cars are on the back right.
Yeah, I think another point is that because last time I think I saw a few videos complaining about this, when you touch it can't open, or so they have this thing installed. So the version that I bought is actually improved. They have this let's say a notch here where it really touches the button to open up. So I think kudos to the team to really respond to it, or else it's very troublesome to have to go to the car and open it up. Yep.
That's true. Can you show us the trunk space? This is a SUV, so space is going to be very important, especially for family use.
Okay, just press it. Right. So you have quite a large space. Usually I don't have this on. I just put it at the side and put all my luggages. So basically 2 hand carry luggages is very enough, and so quite spacious. And then I can actually push down the chairs as well to have longer objects to be put on. Then below here, I think it's lesser space than a Tesla, so I just put shoes and the charging as well. The charging for 3-pin charge. I haven't tried like a camping experience inside the car, which I definitely hope to have one, because I think I have my friends doing that in I think in Pahang. So that's very interesting experience where they have a picnic session at the car as well. So looking forward for that.
It is quite a good amount of space in here. Definitely very comfortable. Does the IONIQ 5 have a front? Is that space in
Yes,
front?
yes. Let me show you.
Yes, please.
Let's close it. So it's quite convenient for like groceries and everything. Split it. So for the front, there's no opening, so you just need to open it up here. Then go to the front. So the front one is larger space than the Max because of the rear engine, while the Max have all-wheel engine. So here I put my so some stuff. Usually put some like food, and we tapao and we put it here because it will affect the car smell as well. So that's how we use it, and I think it's quite simple to use. So hopefully, what I hope is actually to have this lid removed and they have this attached. It's easier, right? Just open it up, then directly I can put stuff here.
I agree. This is a pretty big front. It's quite deep. You can put your groceries. You can definitely put some bags in here as well. I think it's a very practical front. Compared to the all-wheel drive dual motor versions where the front is smaller, this one's actually pretty good. I also do agree that the best part is no part. Do we really need this if this can cover? Because so that's one thing that for Teslas, they don't have this cover on top. So good feedback.
Another thing I think maybe cover up this to get in even more simpler look, like the Teslas. So yeah, I think that's all for the front.
Thank you so much for showing us. Very impressive front. Now let's take a look inside the IONIQ 5. See you inside.
So when we get in the car, the way to start the car is actually to hit on the pedal and just press it here, and the car is on. So that's it. Because ICE car owners will think that, oh, where's the sound? Where's the engine starting sound? And like that, just like that. That's what their response is. It's also my initial response as well as the ICE car owners. So this is the dashboard, and this is the touchscreen board where you can actually have all this up here. That's nice. And then so you can actually see all this interface. So this is EV where you can see the charging level, and also you can control like what's the input that you wanted and the limit that you want the car to be charged, right? And so I think it's quite simple function in comparison to Teslas. You have the phone, projection, and memos. Climate wise, I think is easier, but one thing is that it actually turns off the sync quite often, because I usually try to control like 2 parts to synchronize the temperature, but usually it turns off itself. But that's a small matter lah. And then one good thing is that if I travel alone, usually I will turn on this driver only. So this part of aircon will turn off, and it will actually save me some battery as well. So a good function. And yeah, I think the interface is quite simple, but it's not like responsive like you do this and it follows like how Tesla is. So it's manual and you need to do this, but I think it's quite okay because of if we transits from ICE to electric car, we quite used to this flow, right? And
yeah, a lot more buttons. So even though there's a touchscreen, like 2 touchscreens, one for the driver instrument panel and one for multimedia controls for the passenger to also use. There are also more physical buttons, so it's a good mix of both. Some people prefer. This car also supports Android Auto and Apple CarPlay.
Yep.
How does it work?
Yeah, so one thing is that it cannot do the Bluetooth connect. So I need to have a USB cable to connect with my
phone. So just plug it in, and I usually leave my phone here, and it starts to read the USB.
Mhm.
Then I just hit on this Apple CarPlay, then everything shows. And it's quite simple interface. So you have all the apps that I usually use. So of course Waze is the one, and YouTube Music where I listen to music. And yeah, I think that's about it. And also I use ABRP and PlugShare to find charging spots if I'm in a place where I'm not really familiar with. And I usually do like a planning of trip before I depart to find like where's the nearby charging spot, and I can actually estimate the distances and where I can go, and where can I stop to charge, and what can I do during the charging session. So yeah, I think it's quite intuitive and very simple. So I think the learning curve is not that steep. Just need to be familiar with the interface, and that's about it.
I also noticed that there's a lot of space up front here. You can even see that you got your own tray at the bottom. So a lot of leg space. You can see a lot of empty space in here.
This is the added one.
The charge ports down there. And again, a lot of empty space down here as well. Usually the center console will take up a lot of space, but you can actually put bags in here. You can put a lot of things in here.
Yep. You have a charging spot here as well. So you can actually put your phone here. And then, yep, this light turns on and you can see it's charging. So basically 2 phones plus at the back. And front here, I actually put a USB LED. And during the night time, I can actually have a better view because it will be totally pitch dark during the night, and as I don't have the ambient light. So having this helps me for the visibility. Yeah.
Okay, we talk about the back. Let's go check out the back seats.
Yeah, sure.
See you behind.
Been some time since I sit at the back seat.
Yeah, that's what most drivers say. They hardly sit in the back seat, never been chauffeured, always the one driving in front.
Yes, I'm always the driver.
How's the back seat for you as a passenger?
I think it's very spacious. You can see the legroom. It's totally very comfortable. You can actually like move around, put your leg here, and you have the aircon vent here. The one thing that I want to mention about is the aircon power, where it blasts out the wind. It's not that strong. And I had one experience when I was a passenger and my parents drive me, and the aircon was not that strong, and the sun is very hot, and it was like power level 2 for the aircon, but it doesn't feel any, like, there's no aircon at all. So I think that if it's like synchronized with what the output is, then it's even better. But of course, I didn't expect much for the passenger one. But of course, if there's kids behind, then I will be more concerned about it because of the temperature difference. Yeah.
Talking about temperature, nowadays a lot of EVs, they come with a sunroof or a glass roof. So this spec of the IONIQ 5 does not have it. So it's a normal metal top. Is that a good thing? Do you all prefer that? Because some people, they don't like the sun coming from the top, especially in hot places like Malaysia.
Yes, definitely. Although if you have the panoramic roof, it's definitely a plus. Like you have the night view, very beautiful. You can enjoy the maybe stargazing as well. But for at this moment, I think it's very practical to have totally covered, and you don't have the sun penetration issue.
There's a lot of space behind. There are 2 USB charge ports down here. These 2 are USB-A, so hopefully in the future, Hyundai also provides USB-C, which is our new standard. A lot of leg space, and I think I'd love to go on a ride together. Can you bring us to your favorite charging spot?
Yep, sure. Or maybe one more thing. Here, you can open up, and there's a cup holder as well. So usually when we charge the car, me and my wife will sit here and enjoy maybe a lunch or a snack time, and wait for the car to recharge, and we proceed on at the front.
Like a boss. Yeah.
Like a boss, eh?
Put your Starbucks frappuccinos here.
Yeah,
So much space here.
and I'm looking forward to have a like a
Tray.
tray here. haven't bought that yet.
Okay, so let's take a drive as we go to a charge spot, and I'll talk to Kim about the driving experience, what he likes about this car, and what he wishes was different. See you back in the front seats. Where are we going to?
We are going to the Sunway X Gentari charging spot. So this is the spot where I go if I'm around PJ area, and if I in Cyberjaya area, then I will go for Rakascape. So I think today, because we are around PJ area, so I'm gonna bring you guys to Sunway, where I charge. All right. So here you can actually see the interface, and just click on the base and just key in the base. Sunway. Yep. So as Park Sunway Serene. So it's quite nearby. So that's it. So just follow the routes as usual, and we will depart. 9 minutes.
Looking forward to this 9-minute drive.
So I think everyone can realize that starting the car and moving the car doesn't require any effort at all. It's very natural. So I do like this feel of like direct input and just feel like you're part of the car. The car is like part of your parts as well. Just step on it and it goes.
That's true. It's more responsive. If you're a gamer, it feels like you're playing with a lot less lag. Some would say lag free.
Yeah.
Now you had this car for 6 months. You drove for, if I'm correct, 22,000 kilometers so far.
2000.
That's a lot. So with so much experience with this car, what do you like most about the Hyundai IONIQ 5 so far?
I think in terms of driving experience, I really enjoy it. Especially I can actually change the driving from usual pedal brake to the single pedal that Tesla have. So I just changed the iPedal, which is the pedal drive. So I actually just push it here and I can change it. So single pedal, which means that I don't need to step on the brake that often, and I totally like this because not only save out the brake as well, and also it's quite intuitive, like playing games. Because games you usually just press on one button, either you accelerate or just slow down. So that feels like you are really playing a game. And yeah, so maybe I can talk more about like different modes. So you have the iPedal, then you have the level 3 until level 0. So meaning that it's level 0 is totally like an ICE car and there's no drag at all. So if you want to transition from ICE car to EVs, and level 0 is definitely something that you can think of, and it's totally feels like an ICE control as well. So for me, definitely iPedal. So you just need to press until iPedal, then you feel the drag.
With a car with this kind of iconic design, do people stop a load? People say, oh no, what is this? Did they ask you to give you a test ride?
Yes, totally. We do feel a bit awkward at first because like even in a car park or even we stop by and we dabao food, right? People will gaze on the car and without realizing we are inside as well. So we are looking at them, and if they found out that we are inside, they straight turn their head away. But some, they are very approachable, where they come and talk with us, and especially when we are charging in, like, let's say petrol station like Shell Caltex. So some guys will actually like come to me and say, "Oh, what's this car? Charging how long? Usually they will ask charge how long, charge how much. Then they'll say, quite worth it. So I think this interaction itself shows that people are actually quite curious about it. And if they found out it's very impressive that usually they understand it as EV cars need a long time to charge and it takes a lot of money, but it actually doesn't looks that way because charging itself is affordable. It's one thing, and it can be very fast. The fastest that I experience is with Shell, so that charges up to 880 kilowatt, and that equates to just below 15 minutes charging to a very full capacity. So I think that's very practical because usually we go to the toilet, have a wash, and maybe some stretching that already makes up to 15 minutes. So that's very practical, and we see it over there now.
When your family and friends ride this car, do they remark like how quiet this car is?
Yes, that's the first impression of their first ride. Was so quiet. Like very premium cars basically. Because usually when we go into a much premium car, luxury car, then it goes much quieter. But with an EV, no matter what range, which level you are in, it's totally quiet. So I think it's a very good experience, and you will not feel like as comfortable as ICE car where you hear all the motor's voice.
There's so much to like about this car. What do you wish was different about the IONIQ 5?
Different. So I think the main thing is definitely the Bluetooth, where I don't have the Bluetooth CarPlay, and that really makes some effort to actually connect it. Sometimes it even get disconnected, so I need to drive or even park at the side, so and then try to reconnect it again. So the effort itself, and also it makes the driver not able to concentrate that well. So I think it's best for Hyundai to improve that in particular. Okay.
So please give us wireless CarPlay and also Android Auto. There's a way to software update it. Great. As someone who drove the Kia EV6 again and shares similar architecture, another ask, and many owners want this is app access. So we talked about how hot it was just now when we were sitting in the back seat. So let's say we park our IONIQ 5 in the sun and we're coming back to the car from a sunny day. It would be nice to have app access so that we can pre-condition the car, turn on the aircon before we step in. And also, when we're charging, just like how we're going to charge right now on X Park, maybe if we're sitting down in a cafe, we would like to know our state of charge. So that's my ask.
So another thing that I think can be improved is the button itself. Because usually when you drive and we try to adjust the temperature and everything, because usually your finger will like slip it here, become auto. you press the wrong button. So maybe here can be improved and where it's more ergonomics friendly. Because usually when you press it here, or even if you mispress to hit, then it will get very hot. So maybe some part to reconsider it.
Is there any voice assistant to turn the aircon up and down or use other car controls?
Yes, but I personally haven't really tried it that much. So here we are, and we are reaching to the charging spot. We have a BYD here.
Well, back here again at X Park Sunway Serene, a very popular charging spot for all EV owners, regardless of what brand you drive.
Right. So maybe we can try this, the fastest one. Haven't tried this. I tried the 880. So we are about to try the 350, so see how it goes.
Okay, so please walk us through the steps. How do you charge in Gentari?
Okay, sure. So let me get out of the car. Try to connect the app.
Okay, so usually you will check out either you're a new user, you usually scan this code and download the app. So apparently you can use Jom Charge and Settle for this charging port. So I will try Jom Charge. You can actually see all the details here. When just press it in. So we are at number one. So just pick it up here. Here you can actually see the rate and everything. So I'm gonna try this 350 kilowatts. So usually you just press it here. Once I press the start charging, it will show this. Please connect cable. So I will cable. So this is how it looks. I think it's even lighter than what the shell has. That's even bulkier. You need to like weightlifting. So just put this down and it moves a bit. Yep. So you can check on the app. So it will say initiating charge. Right, you hear some sound there. And you will start. We'll wait for the charge to start. Yep, there's a loading there. You can actually see it.
Here you can see right now it starts at 45, now 100 kilowatts.
So you can see when it's charging, it's blinking. And you can actually observe how fast it's charging here. And also what's the time for it to hit like 80%. That's the usual level where we charge. So it's 168 kilowatts going up. So maybe get some time to heat up the battery for higher voltage.
You can see in the console, it looks like we're going to take about 37 minutes to charge up to 100%. But obviously, normally we don't need to charge up to 100%. What state of charge you normally charge up to, usually?
80%. So like what is recommended. So 80% usually equates to 300 plus km, which is totally enough for any city ride in Malaysia.
I agree. Now that we're charging, it's time to do what Kim does and wait like a boss in the back seats. So see you in the back seats.
One good thing for an EV is that you will become a better driver. Why? Because of you cannot go speeding all the time. You will try to restrain yourself not to press the pedal too hard because it will drain your battery. So that trains you to become a better driver. And also my wife will be even more happier if I drive better in terms of like not speeding and everything. So yeah, so I think it's a very good experience. And for the range wise, I think I'm very satisfied with the city range. But if it's able to go even further a bit, for example like 500 kilometers for the range itself, in order for me to travel to Penang without like single charge, then it's even more convenient.
You drive up regularly to Penang, yes?
Mm-hmm.
So there's some frequent trips there. How much is the total distance from KL to Penang, roughly?
It's almost 380 plus, but I can't hit with single charge.
So there still needs to be one stop, otherwise almost no buffer, like 1-2% state of charge. And as what Kim mentioned, if you drive too fast, your battery drains much faster. And that means you got to spend even more time in the charging station, charging your battery.
Exactly.
And you end up taking longer to reach your destination. So there is a sweet spot. What do you find is a good sweet spot on speed to still reach your destination at a good amount of time?
Actually sticking with the speed limit of 100 to 110 is very good, where you just need to charge around 15 minutes at the most at few spots like, for example, Ipoh, Tianxiang, or Tapa, Electron, or even with Jom Charge in Bukit Gantang. So these spots are totally okay for the charge, and the time span is about 15 to 30 minutes depending on what's the power output. So I think that time allows me to have a rest. In comparison to ice, usually I will go all out to shorten the travel time and get to the destination as fast as possible. Whereas in EV, I totally changed the whole driving experience. Get more relaxed and get some time to like move around, maybe Ipoh town, which I don't do it at all when I have ice. So it's totally a change of lifestyle as well for me when I change to EV.
That's good to hear. Oftentimes when we are researching considering EV, we get put off by, oh, I need to wait to charge for 25 minutes, half an hour. But there's also a gift, as what Kim has called out. It gives us time to sit down like that, relax, have a drink, be more well-rested. A well-rested driver is a safer driver. So now you have so many experience driving up, charging. How do you rate the charging infrastructure in KL from 1 to 5? 5 is the best.
I think it would be around 3 for now. A few reasons. So I think the first one is some old chargers, they don't have this cables, type 2 cable. So I went to a few of them. One is in KLCC. So I thought KLCC, they have like in-stock cable ready for charging. But in the end, when I went there and oh no, I don't have that type 2 cable, and in the end I can't like access to the charging. But of course, it's my fault as well for not like check the details beforehand on PlugShare. So that's a lesson learned. But if it's possible, definitely if everywhere there's cable attached to the charging port, it's a very big convenience for every one of us. And I think second one is definitely the location. Because location wise, a lot of them are not that publicly accessible. Plus, if it's like in the basement car park, you need to like really do a treasure hunting to find that spot itself. So it's very troublesome to me. So yeah, I think location wise and also the port.
I understand. Being in your shoes as well, looking for chargers in Singapore. But to Kim's point, there are some chargers which don't have the cable. It's a bit of nuance. So like KLCC, for instance, is up to 50 AC, DC chargers. There's some that bring your own cable. There's some AC chargers and the DC chargers that have the cable as well. But for the consumer, unless you actually know this, you've been to all these locations, if you're coming from another state, coming to KLCC or from Singapore, not everyone may be aware. So simplifying things, making things easier for everyone, will help. So KL is a 3 out of 5, which is already much better compared to even as recently as 2 years ago. It was much harder finding public chargers in KL. How about outside of KL for road trips when you go to other states, to Penang? How's the public charging infrastructure?
I think Penang started gets better when electrons come in and also charge EV as well. They started to have more DC chargers along the way, northbound to Penang. I think northbound is better to Penang than southbound back to KL, where southbound has less options. So I do hope that southbound has a better options for us to choose from.
When Tesla opens a supercharger network, Kim can also use it one day because they will open up to non-Tesla EVs. Maybe not every stall, but at least few stalls in many stations. So looking forward to that. Thank you so much for sharing your experience getting an EV in Malaysia, giving us a tour of the Hyundai IONIQ 5, coming here, showing us a charging experience as well. We've learned so much, Kim.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. So a great experience to share with you because being a subscriber of your channel, and thank you for sharing all this information to everyone of us.
Happy to be here. And again, none of us do this alone. There's a great community of EV owners in Malaysia. The most common and popular community is the Malaysia EV Owners Club, MyEVOC. We'll put a link to the community down in the video description. If you found this video useful, please click the like button. If you have any questions for Kim or myself about the Hyundai IONIQ 5 in Malaysia, let us know down in the comments. And click subscribe to stay updated to more videos with EV owners around the world.